Good morning, everyone. I hope you are all doing well today. Oh my gosh, it's Friday, and today I'm going to have a little bit of fun. So, for those of you who are just tuning in, today's show is Crash Budget for a Destination Wedding. So, I know some of you got some wedding invitations and you're trying to figure out how you're going to pay for it or how you're going to pay your credit card back. I'm going to help you out today. So, today we're going to crash budget, and we've been crash budgeting all month, so I'm so excited about that. So let me go ahead and share this out. I had to cough, sorry about that. So let me go ahead and share this out to a couple of folks who may want to just kind of hang out with us today. So I hope you're doing great. So what's going on? All right, I know I didn't have my stuff together, so I got to type, and you get to watch me type. So we are going to crash budget for a wedding. I'm so sorry, y'all. I had the idea to change up what I was going to say, type right before I just started typing. So you get to see me type, and you get to see me share, and we get a couple of folks to come and join us over here. So for those of you, if I'm coming to you live right now, and I'm starting here over on Instagram. So for those of you, if I'm coming up in your feed, you have no idea who I am. I am Felicia Jones, budgetologist and solopreneur money management expert, and you are watching Ask the Budgetologist. Now, I come to you live every morning, and I answer any questions you have about business budgeting and solo entrepreneurship. And I come to you live here on facebook.com/Keep Up with Mrs. Jones and over on Instagram at Keep Up with Mrs. Jones. So today we're going to talk about weddings, how to crash budget for them. We've been crash budgeting every Friday of this month, and there's going to be a post in my blog. I just kind of thought about that. Maybe I should put all of these videos on my blog so that you can learn how to do it. And for those of you who are listening to the podcast, thank you so very much. You can find the podcast over on iTunes, the Google Play Music Store, Player FM, and some other places that I don't know, but just download it, especially if you're an Apple person. I'm an Android girl. How many Android girls do we have out here? Hey, Heather. Hey, Angela. So, oh my gosh, today is going to be amazing. I'm going to take some time off. So my husband gets half-day Fridays with his job. So I decided to take half-day Fridays too for the summer. And I am going to go do a photo walk. So if you want to kind of see what I'm up to today, you got to go follow me over on Instagram. Hey, hazel-eyed mama. You got to go follow me over on Instagram, and you get to see what I'm up to today. So later on today, going to walk around downtown Denver, take some photos, get the camera out, just so I can kind of relax getting into the weekend. Then I'm packing, and I'm off to Philadelphia for Podcast Movement. So if you happen to be in the Philadelphia area, why don't you come and crash? I didn't say that out loud. You didn't hear that. But come and join us over at Podcast Movement. For those of you on the live stream, I will be coming live from the phone. So things will be a little bit different next week. Things will be a little bit different. I will be coming to you live from Podcast Movement. For those of you listening to the podcast, I'm actually going to do special shows just for you. So that's what you get. It's going to be fun. Also next week, I will be speaking at WordCamp Denver. It's the best $20 you will ever spend in your entire life for all my designers, my copywriters, my freelancers. You want to come over to WordCamp Denver. We're going to be at DU. That's the University of Denver. Don't ask me why they call it DU, but the school is University of Denver. I don't understand that either. But we're going to be over at University of Denver, $20 for one full day and food at the end at a party for all of the best content that you'll get around business and design. And the next day, they're serving breakfast for full-on workshops. And I think this workshop I've signed up for is how to use SEO, how to charge up your SEO with your website, and then some other coding stuff. So that's what I'm going to be doing. So it's going to be so much fun. Wish I could be there. It'll be budgeted next year. Yes, budget that $20 so that you can be at WordCamp, Heather. Or maybe you're talking about Podcast Movement. Not really sure. Hazel-eyed Mama 23 is asking me, will you be there Saturday or Sunday? If you're talking about WordCamp, I will be speaking on Saturday, and I will actually just be attending a workshop on that Sunday. So if you're going to be there, come and hang out. I mean, seriously, $20. I mean, seriously, it's like $20. And it's pretty cool with the kind of information you're getting. My topic is going to be how to grow and profit from live streaming. Who knew that you can actually do that from talking your butt off every day for over a year? So I'm going to be talking about that. Any other announcements? Oh my gosh, I'm pretty sure I have tons and tons of other announcements. Oh, Podcast Week, August 12th. Mark it on your calendar. You're going to start seeing promo stuff for it by the weekend and over in all next week. August 12th through 18th here on Ask the Budgetologist here on Instagram. We're going to talk about how to launch, leverage, and land speaking gigs with your podcast, okay? So for all my speakers out there, for all my podcasters that are wanting to kind of up-level your game, we're going to do that August 12th through 16th. So we're going to talk about, the benefits of podcasting. I'm doing this in partnership with Podcast Websites. So I'm bringing my dear sweet friend, Mr. Mark Asquith, the founder, one of the co-founders of Podcast Websites, on to talk about why he started Podcast Websites and how he literally launched an international speaking journey just from his podcast. So we're going to talk about that and how they can help you really have an amazing podcast experience. So we're going to talk about that. Everything from how to send your podcast to people, how to land speaking gigs with it, how to get it started, what to say, everything. So it's going to be so much fun. August 12th, gonna have a little sign up thing for those of you who do sign up and save your seat. I mean, seriously, all you got to do is listen or watch, but I'm going to have some little extra bonus things for you all over there. So, all right. I think that's enough with the announcements. Let's go ahead and just start crash budgeting. Angela is saying she has a lot of deadlines today, so she won't be able to hang on long. I can catch the replay. Yes, Angela, thank you just for even letting me know that you're going to do that. So I appreciate you. And of course, go do your deadlines today. Go make some money. Go make some money. Heather is saying Podcast Movement. She was not trying to budget $20 for WordCamp. That's too bad. It's probably cheaper. No, but yes, Podcast Movement next year, Heather. And I will give you the secret Lolo. Here's the one cool thing money wise when it comes to conferences. Always have a friend let you know when they release the next year's date, because usually they have like 1 week where the tickets are so freakishly cheap and then the prices start going up. So I'll let all of you know when they release, open it up. If you want to be at Podcast Movement, maybe we can have a party there next year. So I don't even know where it's going to be. Hopefully somewhere like back on the West Coast. East Coast, because it takes a lot to get to the East Coast sometimes. Angela's saying, my girlfriends and I were in Denver last year for our yearly getaway, but stayed in Colorado Springs. Beautiful. Oh, Colorado Springs is very beautiful, but it's a lot prettier up here. Just FYI. So I hope you enjoyed Colorado. Colorado is a very beautiful place. And hopefully next time you get out here, we get up to the mountains and we can go do some fun things in the mountains. All right, folks. Hey, Beatrice, how you doing? So let me go ahead. I got to get prepared and pull out the calculator because we're going to talk about how to crash budget for a destination wedding or for a wedding. So if you're one of those people, you are being loaded up with all of those wedding invitations. And, for a long time, I didn't go to weddings because one, never really thought they were very interesting. And two, they were just so freakishly expensive, especially when people expect you to be in a wedding. So now I got to pay for a dress that I'm never going to wear again. I got to come up with a gift. I got to go to all these different parties, and I got to be around people that I really don't know because I can't hang around my friend because she's like the queen of the day. So it's a very weird thing to go to weddings for me. This is just my opinion. I know a lot of people love weddings, and they're nice to see that people make a commitment to each other. But sometimes weddings are just odd, especially when you're like not family and you're a friend and you don't know the family very well. So you're just kind of hanging out and it's like, okay, I spent $800 just to kind of eat weird food and have one cocktail. And then hopefully there's a good DJ. So we're going to talk about all of these weddings that you're being invited to. And then we'll determine, if you have the money or not. And sometimes it's just a lot easier to send an expensive gift. But here's the thing. I know a lot of you need to go to weddings. You have friends, you have family. So we're going to talk about them, especially the destination weddings. So here's what I want you to do. Pull out a pen and paper and your calculator because we're about to crash budget for your destination wedding invitation. And especially if you got a lot of them. All right. So here's the thing. What I want you to do. Step number 1. I want you to filter through all of those wedding invitations that you have. We got to figure out how many weddings that we were invited to. Now, luckily, I am at a point in my life where I'm not invited to a lot of weddings anymore. I'm 40 years old. Most of my friends are either already married or just the last tail of them are getting married. At this point, we're celebrating quite a few divorces. So People are having divorce parties. So there you go. But I don't get a lot of wedding invitations. And I know a lot of you, especially if you're in your 30s or you're younger, you're probably being inundated with wedding invitations. So what I want you to do is really look at all of those wedding invitations and all these weddings that are coming up, and just list them. How many do you have to attend? And I'm trying to write, but all of my ink pens have just died on me. You guys, I mean, gosh, this is my life. So uno momento, por favor. Me back. Oh, okay. So for those of you listening to the podcast, I had to get up and go get an ink pen that worked. I have like 12 billion ink pens and none of them work. So I have to take notes as I write this. All right. The first thing you need to do is list all of those wedding invitations and all of those potential weddings that you're going to be in. All right. Then number 2, we got to figure out if we're going to be in the wedding. So if you've been asked to be in a wedding, all right, list that as well. So now we got to start looking at all of the activities that happen when we are thinking about weddings. All right. So if you're going to be in the wedding, we gotta list the number of weddings we're going to be in. So right now, I'm not going to talk about people who are in weddings. I'll come back to you, but I want to talk to the people who are attending the weddings. You just got the invitation. You need to show up, eat all the weird banquet food, and then just party. That's who I'm talking to you. So what I want you to do is list all of those wedding invitations. All right. List the ones that you're going to go to, and let's get rid of the ones that we're not. So that's the first thing. Like, separate going versus not going. Hey, Mr. John Barry CC over on Instagram. How you doing? So that's the first thing. Now we got to figure out which ones are local and which ones aren't. So we got to start looking at the cost for getting to these weddings. Guess what? We may have to get a plane ticket. We may have to rent a car. We may have to get hotel. And, what did I say? Plane ticket, car, hotel, and food. Now, the beautiful thing is that sometimes weddings, they're not very long, but if you're going to a place, usually you go for just about 3 days tops. So we're going to look at everything for about 3 days. So I need you to go and do the research on how much it's going to cost for you to get there. Okay. And I don't really care how you get there. I just need to know the cost of you getting there. All right. So that's the third thing. We got to research the cost to get there. And so don't forget, you got to look at the plane, the transportation, the lodging, and the amount of food that you're going to eat while you're there. Now, it's kind of cool because if you get invited to the rehearsal dinner, that's a meal. If you get invited to some type of bachelorette thing, you probably have to pay for that. But, you get the meal at the wedding, and the better the wedding, the better the food. So you have to kind of think about all of that stuff. And some people nowadays, they have breakfast and brunches afterwards. But we got to look at how much is it going to cost, who's all going with us, and really think about what we're going to do when we get there. Now, the other thing, if you're going to one of these, if you got one of those special friends that's just like a little extra and she wants everybody to dress in a theme, you got to think about that. I went to a wedding a few years ago, and the wedding was in November or October. The wedding was in November, and she wanted everyone to wear all white. Now, if you know how sales go, she wanted all white. And of course, I mean, gosh, at that point, all the fall things were out. And it was like, so where do you find white outfits, white dresses? And it had to be all white for everyone, white dresses. And so now I had to go and like hunt for a white dress in the middle of fall. That was crazy. So if you got a friend that's just a little bit extra, you got to figure out what you're wearing, and especially if they want you to have a theme. All right. Or if you just like to buy a new outfit for when you go to a wedding, especially if you got an ex there or something. All right. Now we got to look at the gift. So now you've done all of this. You got your wedding list. You started researching the cost. You're starting to look at if you got to buy an outfit or just wear what you have. And now you got to look at the gift. Now, I'm not saying how much you should spend on a gift. I'm just saying that 9 times out of 10, you should probably purchase a gift. Now, here's the controversy, and you all tell me what you think. I've always been told by my mom, and I don't know, my mom could have been cheap. If you are in the wedding, you don't have to buy a gift. because you're paying for all these things to get there. I've always kind of gone with that thought that if I'm paying to be in your wedding and if I'm paying to get there, you don't get a gift. But I know a lot of people are different that way. But I want you to think of all the gifts that you have to give. And especially if you got a friend that's a little extra and she's expecting a gift for the wedding, for the shower, and then for the bachelorette party. That stuff adds up fast. I had a beautiful friend who got married a couple of years ago, and she had a bachelor party in one state, a bridal shower in a different state, and the wedding was in another state. And I was like, I love you, but you only get me one time because I'm not flying around the country for all of this. So you got to decide which one you want me at. And that's how we did that one, because I love my friends, but you know what? I don't love you that much to spend that much money. I know I'm sounding like a cheapskate here, but I've always told you, if you watch this show long enough, you know this. A 3-day weekend is always between $500 to $800. Always. Hands down, it doesn't matter. $500 to $800. Now, if I have to travel to 3 different states for 3 different weekends to hang with the girls, that's $2,400. That's almost $2,400. So you got to choose which one you want, because $2,400, I love you to death, but I don't know if I want to do it 3 times. So you got to choose one. But if you got one of those friends, or if you feel obligated to be at all of these, you got to look at the cost for all of these extra activities that are going to happen. Okay. And like I said, we're going to do quick math on this one today, because I got to go do a little bit of work. So we're not going to dig too deep, but just go with my idea that anytime you go for a 3-day weekend, it's always $500 to $800, no matter what you are doing. So I want you to look at all of those activities that may come with being a part of the wedding. Look at the gift. And I haven't even included the gifts and things like that in the outfits, but we're looking already at this point at probably spending about $800 to go to a friend's wedding. And if you have to go to the bachelorette party at a different time, so if you're traveling somewhere, it's going to just be a lot different. So $2,400 if you got to go to 3 different states for a bridal shower, for a bachelorette party or bachelor party, and for the wedding itself. Or you just choose one and you're going to spend about $800. And if you're going to be in one of those situations, you might be edging right at $1,000. Okay. Now, that's just for a domestic wedding here in the United States. Now, if you got a friend that decided to go all luxury and everybody's going over to the Bahamas to get married, now you just need to add an extra. Go ahead and add an extra $1,000 onto that. I hate to tell you, because once you're getting out of the country, now you got to get plane tickets, and now you got to make sure everything is together. So now, and you're going to stay longer, because hands down, if you're going to leave the country, you're not going just for 3 days. All right. So now we just need to go ahead and add an extra $1,000 onto it. So now we're at $1,800 for a destination wedding, and almost, $800 just for a domestic wedding. You see how fast that adds up? So let's just take these numbers and figure out how far out this wedding is. Okay. So if this wedding is in 3 months, let's just say, all right, 3 months from now. So it's July, August, September, October. Let's just say the wedding's in 2 months. Let's just say the wedding is in 2 months. All right, folks. So we're just crash budgeting how much money we need for this wedding. And let's just say we're going domestic. All right. So we've already calculated that it may be like $800. So we're going to divide that by 60, because we got 60 days to come up with this money. All right, folks. That means that's $13.33 a day. Beautiful thing I've always told you, as business owners, all we have to do is just really figure out, I got things going on over here, because I told you my husband, he played around with my stuff and made everything weird. That's my husband for you. So $13.33 to come up with this $800 to either pay back your credit card or to pay for this wedding in full. Okay. So we got to really think about what we can do to come up with this $1,300. This $13 for every day for 60 days. Okay. $13 every day for 60 days. And if it's $800 and we got 2 months, and that's 8 weeks. Am I right? Yep. That's 8 weeks. So now we got to come up with $100 a week. So this is how I want you to start crash budgeting. If you've watched any other shows, go back and look at all the Friday shows. We've crash budgeted for conferences. We've crash budgeted for what did we crash for vacations? It's the same logic. We got to do the research, figure out how much money it's going to cost, figure out what our timeline is, and then divide that and figure out how much money we need to come up with each day. Now, for our domestic wedding, is about we're going to just say on the high end is $800. That includes the transportation, the food, the lodging, buying a present, buying a gift, all that kind of stuff. So it's $800. Now we got to come up with $13 a day and figure out what we need to do to get that. All right. Or $100 a week. Now, for those of you, if you have a destination wedding, and hopefully it's not a crazy destination, the further the destination, just keep on adding $1,000 to it. Because if it's like, usually people just go for an island or two, and of course you're going to spend like 5 days there. So let's just go ahead. I've always said a 5-day trip is always between like $1,200 and $1,500. So we're just going to say $1,800 because one, we're leaving the country and it's going to get crazy. All right. But we still only have 60 days to come up with this money to pay back our credit card. So now we got to come up with $30 a day, $30 a day to pay for this trip. Okay. So $1,800 for this destination wedding. We got 2 months. That means 60 days. So that's $30 a day. What can we cut? What can we hustle and make money on? Hey, Mia, how you doing? For $30 a day to get to this wedding, okay? That's what I want you to think about. This is how we crash budget. This is not the most responsible way to do your money, but I get it. Sometimes we're just in these situations where we just got to make things happen, okay? So $30 a day to pay off this credit card and or to pay for this trip in full. Now, of course, like I said, it's $1,800. We got 8 weeks. All right. $225 a week. What can you sell? What can you cut for 2 months to come up with this money? Now, if you have any questions, go ahead and let me know. So I've been doing a lot of crash budgeting. So let me know if this makes sense. Let me know if it makes sense. And so the principles of crash budgeting is kind of just going in attack mode to pay for what it is, for whatever it is that we want. I can't blah, 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 blah. And I'm talking fast today. I know. So, and if it's a wedding, when we're going to weddings and if it's $800, we only have 60 days to come up with this money. So now we have to divide that 800 by 60 days and it gives us $13 a day. And this is how I want you to start thinking, what in our lives can we cut? What can we cut that's costing us $13 every day for just 2 months so that we can get to this wedding? Or for my business owners and for those of you who side hustle, what can we sell for $13 a day to get this money for this wedding? I want you to really, really think about it, okay? Really think about it. It's really that simple, and that is crash budgeting for you folks. That's crash budgeting at its best. Woo, I'm tired now. Oh, man, I'm so tired. I need to take a break now from this crash budgeting. My brain is hurting. Got any questions about this? Got any questions? Anything that you want to crash budget? Anything that you're thinking about? Heather, I know you said you want to go to Podcast Movement next year. That's an easy one. We have an entire year, 365 days. And if I'm right, I paid like dirt cheap price for my ticket, but let's just say the ticket is $4.99. All right, Heather, the ticket is $4.99 to go to Podcast Movement next year. You literally have 365 days to come up with the money for this trip, all right? And so the ticket, all right, let's just say Podcast Movement is $4.99 plus a $300 plane ticket plus, let's just say $1,200. Let's say $1,000 for the hotel room because it is going to be pricey. And about what I got things going on. My husband short-keyed my thing here, so that's why you see things popping up. And let's just say we're gonna add an extra $300 for food. All right, it's about $2,099. So $2,000 to get to Podcast Movement next year, 365 days. All right, Heather, $5 a day, girl. $5 a day will get you to Podcast Movement next year. Think about it. $5. We got an entire year. What can you do to make money or cut money? $5 a day. $5 a day just so that you can go to this event next year and pay for it clean and not be in debt over it. Same thing with these weddings. I do not want you to be paying for a wedding that's not even yours next year on your credit card. I don't want to hear this coming into December because I hate to tell you folks, July is almost over. And then it's going to be August. And then we have what? September, October, November, and then Christmas. Yeah, this should be September, October, November, Christmas. That's 4 months, people. And if you're paying for a wedding when Christmas rolls around, and then you're paying for Christmas into next year, this is how we have this cycle of debt. And this is how we have to end this. Okay. We cannot keep managing our money this way. And especially for my business owners, you know that you're going to be too stressed out worrying about business to be worrying about paying for this. So let's not just do it. Okay. Let's not do it. All right, folks, I'm going to go ahead and tune off because I got a couple of meetings and then I get to go have a little fun with my friend Sunshine. And we're going to do photo day and I got to go plug in all my batteries. So I hope you have an amazing Friday. Tomorrow is behind the scenes. Not really sure what I'm going to talk about tomorrow, but tomorrow is behind the scenes Saturday. And, I'll give you a little sneak peek of what I'm about to do and what I'm about to go after. We talked about it last week, but I'm going to give you the whole system of how I'm going to do it because we talked about systems this week. So I'm going to show you the system that I'm going to use for what I'm about to do. So I hope you have an amazing day. Hope you have an amazing day. For those of you on Instagram, thank you so very much for tuning in. Hopefully some of you can join me over at Podcast Movement if you're in Philadelphia or at WordCamp Denver. Next Saturday is $20, y'all. It's the best. If you need to budget for that, that's like probably 10 cents a day to get to WordCamp Denver next year. So for those of you on Instagram, have an amazing day. I'll see you bright and early tomorrow morning. Now, for those of you on Instagram, I'm not going to be coming live, so you're going to have to join me on Facebook tomorrow morning. All right. See you later and see you Monday. Bye. For those of you who are still here on Facebook, I appreciate every last one of you. Mia, Angela, Beatrice, Heather. For those of you who will tune in a little bit later. For those of you who are going to weddings, I appreciate you. I hope you have an amazing weekend. And if you need me, you know where to find me. Take care. Happy budgeting.